I was just doing my usual New Year's shopping at Walmart, getting ready to kick off the year with a bang. Grabbing snacks, maybe a new pair of socks, the whole deal. So there I am, cruising the aisles, minding my own business, when I notice this old guy. OG, we'll call him. He's looking like a lost puppy in a sea of dog treats. I figured, okay, he might need a hand. We've all been there, wandering aimlessly through the labyrinth of products. Anyway, OG is checking out some pasta sauce, and suddenly, bam! He bumps into this woman, Corinne, with his cart. Now, accidents happen, right? Not in Karen's world. This woman goes from 0 to 100 real quick. She starts going off on OG, calling him a blind old fart and whatnot. I mean, OG was just trying to apologize, but Karen, she's on another level. She's telling him to stay at home if he can't see, throwing insults like it's a verbal wrestling match. Now, I'm not the kind of person to stand by when someone's getting bullied, especially not some G just trying to buy his groceries. So I step in. I walked up, tapped Karen on the shoulder, and said, "Hey, ease up. No need to be throwing around insults like confetti." But oh boy, Karen wasn't having it. She turns her fury on me, gives me this look like I just insulted her cat or something. She starts swinging her arms, trying to hit me. Now, I might not be a ninja, but I can dodge a wild swing or two. I told her, look, you need to chill. This isn't how we do things in Walmart. We're all here for the same reason, to get our stuff and get out. But Karen, she's not having any of that reasonableness. She's like a tornado of rage. That's when I decided enough is enough. I gave her a light punch on the shoulder, not trying to hurt her, just trying to snap her out of whatever angry trance she was in. Behave and respect your elders, I told her, feeling like I just laid down some profound wisdom. She's fuming now, and security is rushing over. I signal them to call 911 because this situation is escalating faster than a TikTok trend. Karen, though, thinks she's some kind of superhero. She tries to make a run for it, weaving through the aisles like she's in an action movie. Security, though, they're on it. They catch her right at the exit, like bouncers at a rowdy club. I couldn't help but smirk. It's like karma had a fast pass for her. They slap cuffs on her, and she's kicking and screaming, probably yelling about her rights or something. All I know is justice was served, Walmart style. The paramedics show up checking on OG because let's be real. That guy got the short end of the stick in all this. He's shaking, but okay. I give him a nod like, you're good, man. He gives me this appreciative nod back, the kind of nod that says, thanks for not letting that crazy lady take me down. By this point, the whole Walmart is buzzing. People are gawking. Some are cheering like we're in a sports stadium. It's like Black Friday came early for them. As for me, I just grabbed my stuff, pay at the register, and head out. The adventure of the day was over, and I had groceries to put away. So, there you have it, my epic Walmart saga. Who knew a shopping trip could turn into a mini action movie? Life's full of surprises, ain't it? I thought it would be a few months since I had another entitled parent encounter, but less than a week since my last one, it happened again. I was working on the tills at my supermarket serving customers during the school rush. It's around 4 p.m. I just got done serving an elderly gentleman and was now serving a middle-aged man and his daughter. The previous customer was standing to the side, putting away his loyalty card and bank card when I noticed he had dropped his bank card instead of putting it away. The father who I was serving, now referred to as ED, quickly ran over and grabbed his card. I assumed he was going to return it, but instead, he ran back to the till and tapped the old man's card on the reader to pay for his shopping before grabbing his items and running after the old man. I had no customers after ED, so I approached the two as they were talking and overheard the ED saying, "You dropped your card back there, mate. Can't be losing that." He then promptly handed over the card and turned to walk away. I intervened and told the old man that ED had used his card to pay for his shopping. I also waved to our on-duty security guard to stop the ED, which he did. Myself and the old man walked down to the ED, and I asked him to stay put while I called the manager down. ED played dumb spouting. "You have no right to stop me. I need to get my daughter home. This is false imprisonment, etc." Once the manager arrived, I explained what had happened, and this scumbag of a person had the audacity to say, "ED, I could have kept his card and used a lot more. Is that what you want me to do?" He shouldn't be complaining about this. I only used a bit. He then turned to the old man and said something equally disgusting. "ED, just consider it compensation for giving it back to you. At this point, the old man was asking if he could get his money back. I headed back to my till and printed a copy of the last receipt. Took the old man to the customer service desk, got his transaction refunded, and he was happy to leave there. He was taken to the side to be asked if he wanted to press charges for theft. One thing is for sure, ED is now banned from the store forever. February 23, 2014 marked a pivotal moment in my life. A Sunday etched into memory. The skies were gray, mirroring the uncertainty looming on my horizon. My destination, home. The car, a vessel of transition and dreams, was meant to carry me into a new chapter. I had just secured a job, and excitement pulsed through my veins as I anticipated the challenges and triumphs awaiting me in my new endeavor. Beside me sat my 4-year-old son, blissfully unaware of the twists fate had in store for us. Little did we know, the universe had other plans, concealed beneath the guise of a routine drive. As I drove, the mundane task of returning from a shopping spree transformed into a surreal nightmare. Smoke began to seep from the engine, tendrils of danger curling upward. Panic set in as the reality dawned on me. My car was on fire. Frantically, I pulled over to the side of the road, rushing to unbuckle my son from his car seat. Flames danced menacingly, consuming the vehicle that just moments ago held the promise of a brighter future. The clothes I'd purchased, the laundry from the laundromat, all reduced to ashes in a fiery inferno. With my son in my arms, I watched helplessly as the car succumbed to the flames. My work shirt and pristine white lab coat, essential for my imminent job, were now indistinguishable in the fiery wreckage. The following day, I mustered the strength to inform my soon-to-be ex-boss of the calamity that befell me. Smoke inhalation and the urgent need for a new car forced me to miss my last day, a day that should have marked the end of one journey and the beginning of another. Her response, however, was an unexpected blow. In a tone colder than the winter winds, she demanded the return of 3 work shirts and both lab coats, or threatened to deduct the cost from my final paycheck. Stunned by the callousness, I assured her that my work attire was now a pile of ash at the salvage yard. Unmoved, she insisted that I bring in the charred remnants. Determined to defy the unreasonable demand, I complied with a promise and a silent eye roll, perhaps accompanied by a gesture only I could see through the phone. Tuesday arrived and I walked into the office, not with the garments she sought but armed with evidence of the car's fiery demise. A picture of my melted laundry basket, a Ziploc bag containing ashes and mud, symbols of a battle waged against unforeseen adversity. Recording the surreal exchange, I presented my evidence, retelling the harrowing tale. The office atmosphere held a strange tension, a mixture of disbelief and a begrudging acknowledgement of my unyielding resolve. Leaving with a smirk, I realized that this unexpected clash had inadvertently become a defining moment. A spark ignited within me, a phoenix rising from the ashes of a scorched car and the bureaucratic absurdity that had sought to stifle me. 10 years hence, I find myself reflecting on that Sunday in February, grateful for the serendipitous turns that led me to a job that became my haven and my triumph. The obstacles, once insurmountable, transformed into stepping stones on the path to a better future. The wages were never garnished, a testament to the resilience that defied the odds. The ashes of that fateful car became the foundation for a story of tenacity and the unwavering spirit that emerged from the flames. A narrative of triumph that defined the course of my life. My wife and I have 3 kids, 36 male, 32 female, and 25 female. We have had agreements with all of our kids that we would help pay for up to $10,000 for their weddings, or use that same amount towards a down payment on their first home. Both of our oldest kids picked the down payment option. They both got married and had medium-sized weddings, both under 100 guests. They paid for the majority of their weddings themselves, but we did pitch in maybe $2,000 to each of them to help a bit. My youngest got engaged last year and started planning her wedding, which was scheduled for this October. She told us she would like us to help pay for the wedding instead of a house, since both her and her fiancé are more comfortable with apartment living and don't want to put roots down anywhere since they are both young. She had us put deposits down for a venue, caterer, photographer, and a DJ. These deposits totaled over $5K and were non-refundable. About 2 months ago, my daughter called to tell us that she and her fiancé had decided to cancel their wedding and get married at a courthouse. She said that the wedding planning was too stressful and they would rather just get married legally and spend money on a big honeymoon instead. She said she wants us to take the rest of what we would have paid for the wedding and put it towards their honeymoon instead. She said they want to take an extra long honeymoon, like 3 months of travel to multiple destinations. I told her that we would not be contributing money to that. I explained that by canceling their wedding, we have lost out on thousands of dollars and gotten nothing out of it due to non-refundable deposits. Mind you, we never questioned any of their choices regarding wedding planning and were not involved in any of the decision-making. I literally just wrote checks to vendors. My daughter is upset and accusing me of playing favorites with her older siblings and for punishing her because she wants something different for herself. I told her that the situations are not the same and that giving her thousands of dollars for her to bum around Europe and Asia for a few months was never something I agreed to. My wife wants to give our daughter a few thousand to try and even things out, but I am firmly against this. The way I look at it, we already gave her thousands of dollars and she decided to literally throw all of that money away. I understand wedding planning is stressful, and if they want a courthouse wedding, that is their choice. But it also wasn't their money that they lost by canceling the wedding. It was ours. My daughter thinks I'm being a jerk about this, and my wife wants to just give her the money to keep the peace. But I feel like that just completely absolves our daughter of what her decisions have cost us. I don't want to pay for her wanderlust after she cost me thousands of dollars. And now, for some comments, you're not in the wrong, but I would encourage you and your wife to inform them that the remaining balance of the money is available to help contribute to a down payment on a home at a future date. This way, you are not playing favorites. You are not punishing her for changing her mind about the kind of wedding she wants, and you are still only using the money for purposes you are comfortable contributing to. Note, I get that you are annoyed at the loss of non-refundable deposits, but you are skating perilously close to a jerk rating by framing it as she decided to literally throw all of that money away, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if that attitude is what your wife is reacting to. You are succumbing to the sunk costs fallacy. That money would have been gone no matter whether your daughter went through with the wedding or not. The only thing different is that by realizing that she didn't want the big wedding, she has stopped spending additional unnecessary money. You're not in the wrong. Throwing away your money was a jerk move, and I wouldn't give her more personally. If she had asked for the money for a honeymoon up front because she wanted to do a courthouse wedding instead, then that's one thing. But to be so disrespectful with your gift and then ask for more, that's just incredibly entitled. I'm also curious what jobs they have that they can take a multi-month honeymoon. Years back in my early days of employment, early 2000, when I worked on the loading dock, we were expecting a big load of Techin products for the new office layout. Some fancy upgrades and big tech sent in the latest computers and network equipment, plenty of expensive equipment. And my boss told me to keep the trucks coming and going as smooth as possible, so we had to team on with a few extras. My responsibility was to get the unloaded pallets and stack them out of the way and ready for return to their owner. Company-owned pallets have to be returned. 6 a.m., I recaffeinated and started the forklift and got to stacking the chip pallets ready for collection. Around 8:31, of the main representatives came in early and parked on the dock. This was a problem, as the trucks were scheduled for roll-in at 9 a.m. I asked him to use the main car park he told me to F of and do my job. My job was to make sure the truckies had unobstructed access to the loading dock. I interpreted this as I am too important. Put it somewhere for me so to keep from damaging the car too much, I slid a cheap pallet under it and got to lifting it. And I put the offending BMW up on a stack of pallets, the entire time singing, "Nothing lifts like a crown," for picking it up and putting it down. We had a crown forklift. The rest of the crew were in stitches laughing. Many of the truckies rolled up and knew immediately I was on duty. Those guys always had the best stories from. Some of them had a good chuckle and made off with a fresh cup of coffee. The day was going smoothly, and we worked that forklift dry as the last pallet came off the tank on the forklift emptied. As I dropped off the last pallet, we got that unpacked and used a tug, small electric cart puller, to drag the forklift out of the way. So I contacted the boss and told him to get me a payment slip to go get the tank filled at a fill station. He came down with the form and the representative. He was all smiles and thanks for the purchase of bulk computers and hardware, but that changed when he spotted his BMW. He was pissed and threatened my job, demanded to my boss I get fired. I just looked at my boss and said, "We should look at the security cameras." When my boss reviewed the security footage, he pointed out that I did ask him to move and park elsewhere. He then looked at me and said, "Thanks for another day. See you tomorrow." The rep wanted the car down immediately. I said, "We can't. The propane tank for the forklift is empty and gas delivery is tomorrow." At 6 a.m., my boss handed me the pay slip for refilling the forklift tank. He said to get the gas in the morning. The rep spat some more obscenities and said this will be tagged onto the bill if his car was damaged. He said it won't take much more than a postage stamp to send his boss the footage of him obstructing their loading dock, and then my boss looked at him and tapped the sign that said, "This is a loading dock. Park at own risk. We are not liable for towing or moving your vehicle. Fines apply." The next day, after detaching the tank from the forklift, I lugged that bugger to my car and drove off to get it filled. Upon returning with a charged tank of liquid work juice for the forklift, I started that bugger and got to moving the BMW down from its perch and ready for the rep to collect. So it's 6:30 a.m., and he has not arrived. So I decided to place this thing in the nearest accessible parking spot on the street, ticketed spot, as our car park was not open yet. It was the only safe place available. I contacted my boss and told him and said, "Call the rep. It's ready for collection. It's in spot XX on the parking meter line." He responded with an "OK." Then I got to work sending off the pallets for the day. It was a half-shift day for me. Now, as for Mr. Representative, he did manage to collect his car before it was ticketed for not feeding the meter. And I heard through my boss the rep got chewed out and screwed out of his sales bonus for acting like a jerk. I miss that boss.